myself, hang on, I swear quite a lot normally, so I'm going to be careful. I promise you, like right now, I'm going to be so careful of how much I swear because
Well, I think
I,
like PG-13 or whatever still allows a couple of curse words, but as long as
that
it's
yeah, that
something
makes
like,
sense.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there's movies that they rate up if it has like one F-bomb, you know what I mean? But
that's
like they
true.
only allow a certain amount.
It's so weird
So it
because
could be
like you're the first content creator I've had on where would you say your audience is more targeted to the younger age because obviously it's Pokemon and obviously you're not swearing and all that kind of thing because is that the right assumption? I'm sorry if I got it wrong obviously.
no, that's okay. I would say yes and no, I think,
For sure.
because just because I mean, I'm an adult
Yeah.
that collects Pokemon cards, and I feel like a majority of the people I've met in the community have been other adults collecting Pokemon cards, you know. So I think I think the whole like TCG aspect of it is more geared for adults.
Mm,
The whole like, oh, cool Pokemon cards, that's for children. So I guess it really could go either way, you know.
yeah. What was it like when that news hit about the child friendly stuff and the fines? What was
God,
it like for you? Because you're the only person I could think of in my
that would have
circle.
been affected.
Yeah, that's
But
what I was thinking.
no, yeah, for sure. It was super scary. I mean, it wasn't as scary for me. That's when I made my Patreon because I was just like, I can't rely on YouTube like at all, you
Smart
know?
move. Yeah, big
Yeah.
move.
Yeah, because it was like it was pretty much screwing every single creator that had somewhat of children friendly comment
Yeah.
or content because Pokemon's like 6 plus.
hmm
So it's like, well,
yeah,
is it children's? I mean, I'm an adult collecting Pokemon cards, but it says 6 plus on the box, so it's like, what is it?
yeah. It's really screwy, isn't it? Because
Oh
it's
yeah.
complicated for yourself. Because obviously you've got a channel what is growing so much as well. Because obviously your content's fantastic. You get amazing views and all that kind of thing.
Oh, thanks.
But then it's like, oh, we gotta be careful because now we gotta think of this rule what might mess up my entire channel, and it's that add a little bit of stress is not the nicest, I assume.
No, yeah.
And let's be real, dude, you've been through a lot of stress recently.
Oh my God.
By the way,
Seriously.
I need to say this. Can you introduce yourself? I haven't done this in any of my episodes. Like they get the guests to
Oh.
introduce themselves. So
Oh yeah, hang on.
so
Let me figure out how to put this push to talk on. I'm like still figuring it out. I was like, where are we starting?
for
Yeah.
my favorite kind of podcasts, at least, are the ones where it's like almost entirely one take. It's just a conversation.
It should just be like real. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind like interview kind of podcasts, but I just like talking. It's the biggest thing I've enjoyed doing this thing is I've been able to talk to so many cool people from literally all over the world, and hearing
Yeah.
their perspectives of like what's life like for their part of the world, what they do for a living, and it's just been fascinating. And if I had it as like an interview, like hello, how are you? And
You're
it's
like,
like
question A, question
yeah,
B.
yeah,
Yeah.
screw that. I'm not
No.
I'm not a big fan of that kind of thing. But yeah,
Oh yeah. No,
introduce
it can make
yourself.
it super awkward.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm Frosted Caribou. Most people just call me Boo, though. And I was a full time streamer on Twitch like 2 years ago, but since then I've kind of merged over completely to YouTube. So now I just do, I wouldn't say full time YouTube, like one or two videos a week because I work full time now
Mhm.
as well. But yeah, just make content, Pokemon content on YouTube, mainly focusing around collecting cards and playing the TCG game as well.
I'm
That's
trying.
me.
I'm trying to think because I found you through Twitch, if I can remember
Yeah.
rightly, and you're the first. You're actually the first person I know of, at least, where they went the opposite way around, where people went from YouTube to Twitch, and you went from Twitch to YouTube.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot too. People going from YouTube to Twitch.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I've sort of transitioned into that period straight away because, like, I like these kind of interactions, but it's a really difficult one. I believe for me, I like the instant feedback. I like the
like the
conversation.
connectivity of it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think that's one thing I looked up to actually your streams, because you're really, really good at just keeping up with the conversation with people and all that kind of stuff. I actually did you. I might be thinking of the wrong streamer, so please don't be offended.
Oh, no.
I might be. Be prepared to say no.
Okay.
In your setup, did you have a schedule behind you once where it was like, okay, yeah.
It was this board actually over here.
Yes, that's right.
And I put my games on there. I printed out like pictures of the games I was playing.
Yeah.
Put them on there.
Because when I came into your stream, I was like, "That's genius," and just quickly wrote it down. Like, oh, keep it somewhere. And
I wrote it down.
Oh, I did. It. I take notes, dude. When you see someone who's doing well on anything, take something from it. What are they doing right, and learn from that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's just nice. I like those kind of things, and your community was always very welcoming as well. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. My community was the best. It's so weird to say like I'm speaking about it in past tense, but really I haven't streamed in like a year now. It's been like a full year since I haven't streamed. So it's like, ooh, it's so weird. I mean, I'm still partnered on Twitch, but I just haven't touched the platform in a year, and I think it's been better actually.
Okay.
Like I enjoy my life more now that I don't stream. Which is weird.
What is that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because I want to stream still because I'm like, man, I miss streaming. I miss my community. I miss the interaction. So I'm definitely going to come back at some point. Nice. I don't know when. Probably when I start working less full time. I'll do both YouTube and Twitch. So I'm going to come back eventually. But yeah, I think just being away from it, because I don't think a lot of people understand like the culture behind being a Twitch streamer and how in depth it really is, like how much it takes out of your life, especially when you're doing it full time. It's like so exhausting and mentally taxing. And actually that's kind of the interesting thing between Twitch and YouTube, is that I find YouTube to just be so much more of like a self project sort of thing, because you're sitting here, you're recording the video, and then you're editing it, and it's like all you. There's no interaction there. So it's not, people don't interact till after it's published. So instead of like having that like return of feedback constantly in a stream, it's just like you're left alone to just do whatever you want creatively. And it's a very like personal content creation to me versus Twitch.
What was the transition like though? Because was it strange to? Cause I tried to do some gaming on YouTube again, but I'm not going to do that. I actually quite like doing these ones for my YouTube now and D&D. But when I was playing a game, Sinuar's something, I can't remember the name now, but I kept looking over to the other screen because I was habited to look at chat. I was like, ugh.
That's so funny.
Yeah. What was the transition like for you though? Did you find it awkward to begin with? Was it like super smooth? You could talk straight away, or?
Oh man, no. I think it was pretty smooth for me. I think after you talk so long to a webcam, because I have full-time streamed for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I was so used to just talking to a camera that it was just, I mean, that was all I was really doing. Just on a recorded video. It was almost easier because I knew that, like, if I messed up, I could just start over, because I just edited it out.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you mess up in real life, you say something wrong, you're like, oh, I didn't mean it.
Yeah. You can do plausible deniability. Yeah, I get it. If I ever say the wrong thing on stream, I'm just like, whatever, it's fine.
You're like,
The community, what I've
you guys know what I mean.
Yeah. My guys get it, so it's like it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I've had it where people, my viewers like making fun of me and like roasting me during the streams, and I love it. For me, it's a term of endearment. But then you'll have some people coming into the brand new, and because they don't get it, they think people are legitimately being mean, and they're like, "Oh, guys, calm down." I'm like, no, it's all right.
They're like, okay. You're gonna hurt his feelings.
Yeah. I'm just like
That's
crying.
So funny.
It's just fascinating seeing different worlds like that now, and But what was the or you don't have to say the actual reason, but was the move because of necessity, because of your lifestyle, or was it like you wanted to try something new? Did you
Um,
hate Twitch? No, I'm joking.
I don't think I hated Twitch. I
Mm,
don't think I've ever hated Twitch, but
mm,
I think it was just like I was just burnt out, honestly.
mm.
I think after you do it full time as a job, and I did a variety stream, so I could really do whatever game I wanted.
Sure.
But I think there's just so much pressure behind the scenes of like, you know, okay, I can stream this game, but you have to be prepared, like you're gonna lose this amount of viewership, or this person's gonna be there and I don't really like having this person in my chat, so I'm gonna have to deal with that, or like
Mm.
I
Oh God, freeze! Oh, it's froze. Why is it
don't know.
froze? It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I think
Oh
mine's okay.
no.
Fine. We're good. We're good. We're good. It's doing this thing where I don't know what it is, but I need to sort it out for my Discord. But um, it might freeze a couple of times, I guess, and we'll get it sorted. So it's okay. It's all good. But
Where you want me to pick off or pick up
you were just talking about someone you really, really didn't like in your channel. No, not really. Not like
no.
that. Not that extreme.
No, actually, that didn't happen too often, but it was just like there was so much behind the scenes that happens before you just hit live and go live.
Yeah.
You're dealing with your personal life, you're dealing with however you felt waking up that day, you're dealing with trying to figure out what game to stream, you're dealing with like a migraine. I at that time I'd been getting like really bad migraines, and I don't know what the cause was still. I don't get them anymore. I think it may have been like medication that I was on or something that was causing it, but I would get horrible migraines that were like debilitating. Like I couldn't speak or look at light or do anything without just like severe pain. So that wasn't really helping the
Yeah, I
situation
bet.
either. So I was missing so many days streaming because I just had these horrible migraines, and anytime I'd sit in front of the camera and under lights and stuff, it'd be terrible. So I was struggling with that. And then I was like, well, I'll do less streaming and then I'll like kind of supplement my income, like working at a bar downtown. So I
Sure.
started doing that. And I was like waitressing and bartending and kind of doing both. And then I was just still having the same issues. And I was like, man, I don't think it's the fact that it's like less streaming helped me. It was more of just like the stream in general is just like overwhelming me. So
Wow.
yeah, so it just became like I was just like pretty burnt out on it, and that's when I think I was like, let me just try to make a YouTube video because I'd been getting really into Pokemon. I'd been watching some Pokemon YouTubers, and I was like, man, this is awesome. Like I could
Hmm.
totally do this. I had so much content for Pokemon that I was opening, and I was like, why don't I just do this on camera and see how it goes? So
Wow, that's
that's how it
amazing.
started. Yeah, that's how it started. And then I was just like, I really like this. I'm just going to keep doing this and see if it goes somewhere. And I started working. I quit the bar job because I absolutely hated it.
Yeah,
I
of
hate
course.
working in the service
Yeah,
industry. It
I
sucks.
was in that same plot, mate. Don't worry, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
But I was like really lucky to find a job at like a local game store. So like a card shop or like a hobby shop. Like they sell board games, they do D&D nights,
Oh, that's so cool.
they play TCG, like Magic and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, main things. But I was hired on there to do their social media and graphic design.
Oh,
So yeah, so that's what I do full time now, is like pretty much the work I was doing on my stream, but for a card shop locally.
that's
Because like they have a stream and they have a YouTube, and I make all their banners and do all
oh,
that full
what's their
time.
name again? I followed them on Twitch.
Oh,
What's
frontline
yeah,
games.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I checked them out. I was like, oh, right, he's like, these guys look pretty cool. So there you go.
yeah.
Shout out to Frontline Games.
Shout out. Shameless plugs.
You can plug all you want, my dude. It's all good. This podcast, let's be real. This podcast is a plug for both of us anyway. So who cares?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
I mean,
True.
let's be real. You've also got a blackboard that says "Hi, I'm Boo," pointing to you. So it's like, yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
it's an interesting one because, like you said, when
Hmm.
people get partnered, they think that's the goal of Twitch, and I
Oh
see
yeah.
so many people like get partnered, and we're really celebrating. But for you to actually talk about like the negative side of it all, well, not negative, but the stresses of it all, It's
Yeah.
so
Which I
important.
say would be negative. I think the stresses are definitely a negative
Yeah.
factor. And that was actually right after I got partnered too. It's like months
Wow.
later. I got partnered and then I was done streaming like 2 months later, which is
Really?
almost the opposite
Yeah.
that you'd expect to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it was just it's it's weird too because like as much as Twitch is really interactive and you're connected instantaneously with your community,
Hmm.
I almost find YouTube to be like a stronger connection to your community than Twitch, which hear me out, sounds really whack.
I
Because it's
get
like,
it.
how? It's a recorded video. What do you
Mm.
mean? But my thing was like with a YouTube video, you post it up and people are there to watch the YouTube video for you, like
Mm.
only for you. Like they have to go out of their way to go watch your YouTube video
Yes,
and they're watching you by themselves. You know what I mean?
I totally understand.
Whereas Twitch, a big part of Twitch is like you're a part of a community. So while you're there, you discover the streamer and you like the streamer and you're watching for the streamer. A big part of that is the interaction inside the chat
You're
and with the
totally right.
community.
Yeah.
So people could be like, "Oh, I want to be in this chat today because I like this person that I hang out with in there. I like this person. I like the community aspect of it." Whereas YouTube, like people are going to your video just to watch you. Like they enjoy you. They want to communicate with you in your comments. So and
Yeah.
sometimes in the comments is more community based, but it's a different sort of thing. Whereas like you're piloting a community with Twitch, but your
Mm.
community is a subsection of itself that kind of pilots itself as well,
I, I
you know?
totally understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's
That's
weird.
honestly like a fantastic point of view. When you said that, it was one of those things where I was like, hang on, that's so true. It clicked.
Hmm.
Like, that's such a big difference there about the chat. Like, just that in itself is a very good, not metaphor, but a way to understand it. If you were going, what's the main difference? Pap, pap, that's it. And
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself when you were talking about people coming to your video, it's
Yeah.
the effort level of like there's a tier to the effort level with YouTube videos where they can click, that's one tier, they can like it, that's another tier, and the hardest tier to get is the comment. If they comment,
Yeah.
so for them to comment, that's it's not effort, but it's a few more steps. Twitch, it's
Yeah.
you watch it, you talk, done, and you can
Yeah.
have it in the background obviously if you want to, but yeah, that
Well, the other thing is too, it's like it's almost like I don't want to say selfish because that's definitely the wrong word, but it's kind of a selfless thing watching YouTube videos because like I mean you're going there because you get enjoyment out of it. So there's that. So it's not really completely selfless, but
hmm
a lot of times I think people go into Twitch chats and they're like, I'm gonna speak in this like they're kind of expecting interaction, if that makes sense. Like they're like, I wouldn't be in this stream if I were not interacting. Which is of not everyone. Some people just watch streams and they
yeah.
don't interact at all and they just enjoy the content. But I think a majority of people go to Twitch because of the community interaction aspect of it.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't there, I don't really know if they would still be there, you know?
You're totally right. It's socializing for introverts in a sense,
Mhm.
where people who
Yeah.
struggle to express themselves in an actual it sounds weird, but human interaction.
Yeah.
That's when they go, okay, well, this might be the chance where I can start to express myself because nothing bad's the repercussions of things going bad in a Twitch chat isn't as overwhelming as something going bad in real life. So
Yeah.
so
Well, and you can totally like low key say whatever you want, and people have a perception of you over a keyboard that maybe you wouldn't be in real life.
that's the flip though as well, isn't it, with the streamers? Because of the animosity. Is it animosity? No, the anonymity. People being anonymous,
Yeah.
basically.
Yes.
English.
Anonymity. Yeah, that's what it is.
Something like that. It can give them the freedom to be arseholes in the end.
Oh, yeah,
And
for sure.
And I'm sure yourself, you've had your fair share of people just coming in and just being all sorts of like not just bringing negativity to the community, but towards you and all the things that you had to face as a streamer as well. I see it countless
Hmm.
amounts of times now on Twitter where we sort of discussed this a tiny bit with female streamers, where
Yeah.
they'd get so much crap from just people in general, and it's because, as we were just talking about, these people who are doing that, they don't know how to interact with human beings. So the only way they know how to interact with someone is by saying something malicious or
Yeah.
negative, and it's not that they're an evil person. In fact, it's like you feel bad for them because it's like, oh, you don't understand how humans work.
Well, not only that, but they're usually like just kind of portraying whatever negative stuff they have going on in their life, and they just kind of put that outward onto others, which is kind of a bummer, but it's definitely what happens, you know?
How did you handle those kind of things? Because I see different streamers who handle hate, and there's one who I love because I believe her pronoun is she,
Uh-huh.
but she, whenever there's like some kind of sexist remark or anything like that, she flips it into something comedic, and
Yeah.
and it is so genius because those moments when she's able to respond in a funny way, she uses it to advertise her Twitch on
Yeah.
Twitter. So it's like this negative person coming in being sexist. She's like, yeah, bring it on because now I'm gonna grow my channel even more. Your
Yeah.
negativity is
Yeah.
gonna help me grow, and I think
Yeah.
that's awesome. I wish I never had to deal with it, but
Well,
it's
it's
great.
weird that like it happens so often now that I think a lot of people are doing that now. They
Hmm.
just like they make a joke of it because it really is a joke. It's like
Yeah,
I think people are taking it less personally. Sorry.
it's
I think
fine.
people are taking it less personally just because it happens so often. It like doesn't really phase you anymore.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I get that.
But I think the big thing that has is still not dealt with, and I don't think anyone talks about at all, is the like streamer versus streamer interaction, the negative interactions between streamers. Nobody talks about it. It's like a hush hush subject that nobody really touches on, but I don't think anybody knows how to deal with that. And it's such a huge part of Twitch because like if you're especially if you're a full-time streamer, you're doing this full time, and a big part of that is like marketing yourself, being online, being on social media, constantly being relevant in a sense, and
Yeah,
being up to date with everyone, what's going on, interacting, being in other people's streams, interacting with other streamers, building communities. Like you're in touch constantly. So
yes,
there's always going to be some sort of conflict with other streamers or viewers or, other people in the community. And that's very different than your conflict with trolls. Trolls almost is the easier thing because it's like, oh, ban, oh, make fun of it, oh, it doesn't matter. Whereas like you have these deeper connections with other people who are in this community or other streamers that if you have some sort of conflict with them, it's like how do you deal with that? What do you
mm,
do? Your communities are connected. The people you're friends with are connected. You're somewhat isolated because you can't bring it up, because if you bring it up you're trashing the other person.
yep.
But what if someone's doing something wrong? You don't want to call it out because people are going to pull receipts on you. You know what I mean? It's like there's this whole culture behind it
I
that nobody talks about.
I'm not laughing out of disrespect. I'm laughing because I 1,000,000% agree,
Yeah.
and I go through it too. It's
Hmm.
fascinating when it comes to that kind of
No,
stuff.
because everybody goes through it because it's bound to happen. There's no one that you don't have conflict with in the world, whether it be in real life, online, because no one's going like you're not always gonna have people that agree with you or see your point of view or think like you do.
Yeah.
So you're just bringing it to this Twitch culture, but no one knows how to deal with it
Mm,
because you're in essence like you're a public figure, and with the like mob mentality situation on
sure.
social media now, it's so easy for that to just get out of hand like
Yeah.
so quickly. So it sucks because usually bad behavior kind of goes unchecked most of the times, I think, just because nobody calls it out because no one wants to, because it's just too big of a deal and you don't want to get involved with that. You know what I mean?
It always has this feeling of, and I'm not really that fussed about it anymore. When I first experienced it, I was like, oh, this is weird. But you can sometimes sense that streamers who maybe aren't doing that well, they're not growing as much as other people, especially if you start comparing themselves to other people. They start to think that things are against them because it's like their reason why they're not doing so good. Or you'll have it where people will say, I one of my biggest pet hates is when people publicly complain about their streams not doing that well regarding viewers on Twitter to their community. So it's like, dude, are you sure about that? Are you sure that's the right move you want to do? I've seen people tweet out.
Do you mean like? Do you mean people who are actually like not doing very well, or people that are doing well in comparison to others, but they're complaining about it?
Not doing well. Not like so.
Okay.
They're still growing. They're still starting, but
they're complaining about
they're
it.
complaining about it. So I've seen it where people have in caps locks because that's the thing you do for some reason.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Who does that? Who?
You only do it.
Stop.
You only do it during titles on YouTube, like normal capital letters, normal.
Yeah. See, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like capitalizing tweets. It's like what?
It's so rough. It's so rough.
It's so cringy.
But yeah,
Oh my gosh.
they would be capitalizing, and it would go, "Where were you?
Gosh.
Where were you guys?" Like literally this, and it's like,
I have never seen this. What? Oh
this
my
is how
God.
it goes. Obviously,
That's crazy.
muted that certain person, but it's one of those things where you just look at it and go, why? Why would you think that would be a good idea to put your community on blast instead of thinking to yourself, well they're okay. They're humans. They've got their own days and lives. It's a weird one.
I think people that probably do that, I haven't seen that, but I think people that probably do that are newer streamers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you see a lot of mistakes like that from newer streamers. We probably made many of those mistakes when we were newer streamers.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I really do think it's not really that person's fault entirely, because I think there's a very false perception of what streaming is out in the world. And people they don't see the year this person started streaming. They're not watching this person from the ground up. They're seeing the 5 years later fully established streamer with a fully established community, and that's what their stream is. You know what I mean? They're not seeing the prior, like, day one of that streamer. So they're starting streaming and they don't see that growth that they're represented, their representations on Twitch. Like they're seeing those viewers, or they're seeing the schedule or the setup or really anything that like an established streamer has. They're looking at that and they're like, okay, how do I get there? And then when they're not getting there, they get frustrated and they don't understand why, you know? But a lot of people don't realize, like, that person got there after like 5 years, 5 years of time. But and everybody's so like, has to happen tomorrow, has to happen in a week. Like, I want to blow up,
People want to blow up all the time. Like, and I think everyone wants their channels to grow, but and blow up. But it's kind of one of those things where you can't be going, all right, one day it's going to happen soon, because that's just going to go against you eventually. And
well, it's like winning the lottery.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's literally the same thing.
And it can happen. Sometimes you'll find the right. I said this to my previous guest actually. You might find the right game, the right day. Everything just falls into place, and then it goes boom, and you grow. It's not because it's someone like rated your stream or anything or recommended your video. It's that it's just the perfect combination of things, and then you can sort of go with it, kind of thing, and start to really dive into that kind of niche, if you would. So your niche would be Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Yeah, obviously. Look at your background.
Oh, okay.
I literally have. Yeah. Do you like Pokemon? I literally have this. That's all I got. It's my
What's What's on his little paw?
It's a Build-A-Bear.
Oh,
B-A-B.
he's a
It's a
Build-A-Bear.
Build-A-Bear.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude, I want the Build-A-Bear Snorlax so bad.
Oh, dude, I
I
want a
don't have
giant
a Build-A-Bear
Snorlax.
here. Oh my gosh, the giant beanbag one?
Yes. Because
Dude,
you know what I'd like for background
dream.
is just his belly. Like, so he's just so big behind me, man. It's just his belly just, oof, that'd be the
The
best.
dream.
The dream. He's just
That's like all of us
Totoro.
needs.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
he's
As
just
a
Totoro.
Snorlax.
And I've got my
Exactly.
Totoro tattoo right here, so.
Oh my god. Then you would want one of those in your background, I
That's good.
feel.
That's
That'd
very
be
true
way.
to a
But
fair.
I've never seen a giant one of those. I've only seen the giant Snorlax beanbag.
I think you can find them, but
Oh, I'm sure you can
I
find
about to say you
them.
can find anything really when it comes to that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. But
Yeah.
what point in your YouTube transition, if you would, did you finally
Yeah.
go YouTube? Oh, sorry, not YouTube. Pokemon. Like Pokemon is it?
I started knowing that I wanted to do Pokemon. I actually had been
Oh,
streaming Pokemon. I had switched all my streaming to Pokemon. And that was when I think
was that Let's Go
because
Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee?
I really had no background in Pokemon until yeah, let's go Pikachu and Eevee came out
Yeah.
and Taco, he's my boyfriend, wanted to play it and he was like, Yo, let's get these games. And then we just got like so into it. Like so into it. Into that, into Pokemon Go, like into everything Pokemon. And then we started getting into the TCG and buying the cards and collecting cards. And we actually went to Tokyo together and went to like
Wow.
all the Pokemon centers. Not because of this. Like he was stationed in Korea and
Sure.
we wanted to go to Tokyo, so it worked out. But we went to like the Pokemon Center there, and that kind of like built our love even more for Pokemon. And
And
then I
each
was like,
other.
you know what? Yeah, exactly that too. It was our anniversary yesterday. So,
Oh, really?
yay!
Happy
Yeah,
anniversary.
it was. And my dog's birthday, so they fall
I
on the
did
same
notice
day.
that. Yeah, that's so cute.
So yeah, we just I just had started like really liking Pokemon, and I had switched all of my content over to Pokemon. I was first streaming. I was streaming Pokemon Let's Go. I was streaming a bunch of TCG online, and that's so like when I started YouTube, I was like, I'm just gonna carry this into just recording videos
That's
instead of
amazing.
streaming. Yeah.
That's so cool.
So yeah,
Transitioning is
that's
always
what
a
I did.
scary thing because you just don't know how it's gonna go. You don't know if people are gonna move over, aren't gonna move over. Like, what?
I actually didn't worry about that. I didn't
Okay.
expect my to come over to YouTube. I still don't really know how many of my Twitch viewers view me on YouTube.
How dare you
Um,
not know?
and
How
yeah, that's what
dare
I'm
you?
saying. I don't really know. But because you can't see your YouTube viewers unless they're leaving comments. You don't know who's watching your videos.
Good point.
So I
Yeah.
don't really know how many people on Twitch, like from Twitch, watch my YouTube videos. But I wasn't really worried about that. I kind of expected it to be a different community just because people who like Twitch and watch Twitch stick with Twitch, and that's totally cool. You know,
Yeah.
everyone has their different platforms they like. So I kind of expected to sort of start from zero. And I think it was like less intimidating at that point because it was like, okay, I'll post this video, but I have like 100 subscribers, so like
I get
it's
you.
not that like heavy. Like it wasn't some big thing where it was like my big YouTube debut. It was kind of like I'm just gonna go see how this is, and if it catches traction in the Pokemon community, it does. You know,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it catches traction there. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. So I wasn't really expecting like my Twitch audience to go to YouTube.
I think that's really key though when it comes to it. It's just anything really. Like, it's a weird, really people can take it as a negative way, but lower your expectations of what might happen to start with. Maybe you, but definitely me. I remember starting I remember making my first uploaded a video, sorry, on YouTube,
Okay.
and my first stream, and the first upload I did, it was awful, by the way, terrible, really cringy, horrible.
They always
I
are.
hate
The
it.
first uploads.
I didn't speak for the whole video. I was in the corner here, let's say, playing Overwatch, and I just didn't speak. It was the cringiest thing, and I thought, and hit my stupid head when.
That's so funny.
All right, posting it up. Right, sit back and wait for the
You're like,
views to
gold.
come in. Yeah, you just know that it's going to come in. Like you're just ready for it to come in.
Yeah.
And then I learned from that, and I transitioned from YouTube streaming to Twitch streaming.
Okay.
And same kind of thing. Like I went into Twitch, but because I was doing YouTube a fair bit, sort of transition period and all that kind of thing as you experienced, but
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting everyone to turn up. I was completely prepared to start from the ground up like you did.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because when people go into starting a stream, as we were just discussing earlier, they see all these big streamers, as you
Oh,
said,
yeah. They
established.
see the final product. Yeah.
Exactly. And they think, all right, I've just got to press that once and then I am done. I'm going to
I'm
have,
famous, baby.
baby, I'm famous. Get that money in. Like, it's it's fascinating when people do that. And I feel like you get, for beginners at least, you will get so burned out if you put
Oh, man.
expectations on viewers and people turning up to your stream.
It's
Whereas,
so sad. It's so sad. And the turnover rate of streamers is so high, and I
yeah.
don't think anyone talks about that.
Mm,
I think there's a lot of subjects about Twitch that are ignored. Same with YouTube, but I think I'm newer to the YouTube community, so I don't really like see that as much. And I'm
sure.
still kind of isolated on YouTube. Like it's just me. I don't really know like a ton of other YouTubers.
Mm,
So, but I do know the Twitch community, and I've experienced that. So I think there's a lot of stuff that nobody really like. People just kind of brush under the rug. No one talks about, and I think that's definitely one of them. Is the high turnover rate of beginning streamers, and just the pressure of streaming, or just like the pressure of everything. And I think as well as like newer streamers putting that pressure onto their viewers, like, why weren't you there? Why did you miss my Thursday stream? Like, you know, I was streaming this time. They're also putting pressure onto themselves as well,
yeah.
to, you know, kind of put on a show, sort of,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Or, you know, because it's like, I think every single streamer I met is like 100 times chiller in person,
Yeah.
and probably YouTube as well, because it just kind of falls in line. Like, to be entertaining, you have to be sort of like in the mood to be entertaining. Like, you have to be upbeat, or like, you know, like the like just easy flowing, I guess, like in the way
Yeah.
you say things or the things about. Like, there's definitely a huge difference between like your mood that plays into it.
Mm,
So when you get people that are not in a good mood, or they have stresses in their life, especially people who are working like two jobs and then trying to be like a big streamer on the side,
yeah.
like hoping it works out so they don't have to work those two jobs, they put an enormous amount of pressure on themselves, and it really, really wears down like people's mental health 100 billion times,
Mm.
like percent. It's really sad to see, and you see it all the time. People are just stressing themselves out, stressing their community out, and then they end up getting frustrated and burnt out and quitting usually.
It's interesting as well because when a streamer has, I mean, YouTube as well, but whenever they are forcing themselves to stream or forcing themselves to make content, even though they
Oh,
might mentally not be there,
yeah.
the viewers, especially if they're quite tight knit community, they can tell. They'll reach out and just
Oh,
say,
yeah.
"Hey, how you doing? You seem a bit low energy and all that kind of thing." I've had people reach out to me and just say that, and it wasn't actually because I was in a negative space at all. I was just
Yeah.
tired. Like I had a long day, but I wanted to sit down and just play a game. But something I've had to learn throughout doing this is just I try to make sure that even in this podcast, the
Yeah.
same vibe is what I would be like face to face.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
for me, if I'm doing something like rapidly different to who I am as a person, I don't think I'd be as happy or more as content.
No, yeah.
The
No
big
way.
the biggest compliment I had going to VidCon was, apart from they said I was shorter than they thought, bastards.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm a short ass. It's fine. It's fine. But my biggest like compliment what I took was that people thought I was the exact same in real life to my
Yeah,
stream.
you're real.
Yeah,
You're
and
real. Yeah.
and some of them said like, oh, he's even more chill. But like, I want to
Oh, yeah.
I just want people to understand that what I'm putting on here is not a persona. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I talk just as much. I will talk about whatever. I'm just as silly as I want to be, and
Yeah.
that's okay. Because if I was going to put on a persona for the audience or people in the community, then my message for other people is, if you want to become not popular but liked by others, you have to be different, and as in different to who you are. It's like, no, no, no.
No,
You
yeah,
you
yeah.
be
They take
you.
that the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You be you, and eventually people will come to you. They'll eventually not flock, but you'll attract the
Yeah,
similar kind
because
of
you're
people.
genuine, because you're being genuine,
Yeah.
So people are like, people see you being genuine, and it sucks too, because sometimes people aren't being genuine, but they are really good at like seeming like they're genuine.
I get you.
And
Yeah.
so people can flock onto that too, and that's when you get weird cases where like this streamer that you loved, all of a sudden he or she is in the news headlines doing some horrible thing, and you're like, what?
Mm.
Because like some people are just chameleons, and they're really really good at kind of pretending like there's something they're not, even when they're not. But usually people like that, I think, get found out. I'm gonna
Eventually,
say, yeah,
something hits them. Like, and
something slips up,
yeah, like, I mean, they do it.
eventually.
Yeah, I mean, they do it for, like, you could see they're doing it because they feel like that's the way they have to be to grow or keep
Oh
people
yeah.
involved, which could be a
Yeah, I
case.
think honestly, I think it's mostly just like usually driven by the monetary gain. Yeah, I think it's the money. I
Yeah.
think people kind of find their like what they're good at or what people like,
Hmm.
and then they just keep doing that because that's what
Yeah.
gives them money.
And
I mean,
there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's coming from a place that you're actually enjoying it. Because if it's
oh yeah, for sure.
if it's a case of, well, like yourself, I'm not talking about the monetary gain because we don't point us talking about that, but like, you love doing it. Your content is expressing your love for the things what you're doing, and it's growing. Like, that's perfect. It's not just disingenuous what you're doing. It's not, when you're watching a video of yours, you're not going, why are you putting on that voice? Why are you acting like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
Like, how you are right now is the exact same way.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's why people are like, there's no way you act like that in real life. And Taco sees those comments, and he's just like, bro, you should live with her. You're like,
Yeah.
you don't know. Or
Yeah.
people at work, like people I work with, they think I'm totally weird because all the little voices and like stuff I do is just like how I am. It really is.
I'm the
It's
same.
so bad.
I'm always the same. I put on the most weirdest
Yeah.
voices to Emily, and she's just like, "Shut up, Dave. Just shut up."
Yeah.
Like,
Stop.
my community can handle it for 3 hours on a stream 3 times a week, and maybe sometimes
Yeah.
D&D. Emily has to deal with it almost 24/7.
Well, D&D, yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
A D&D, I think it kind of helps though, because I've never played D&D. I've always wanted to play D&D,
Dude.
but I've literally, I feel like I'd be perfect at D&D because I have like a super creative mind. I'm good with like voices and acting out different characters. I love that so much, but I've never done it.
You
Like,
should have
ever.
told me, because I say this because
Dude.
I've only been into D&D for 3 months. My very
wow.
first time playing was a few months. No, December. So
Okay.
December was the very first time I actually started looking into D&D.
Yeah.
I am obsessed with it now. It's so fun.
See, I feel like that's how I would be too.
Yeah, yeah.
I would just be like instantly like, I love this.
Yeah, it's so great. Like, we've got the book,
Yeah.
I've got dice flipping everywhere. I'm totally into it.
It's so bad too because I work at a game shop, so like I see the D&D League, and I know like I see all the dice, and I have our like manual books, and I look at them all the time.
It's so cool.
It's so tempting.
If honestly, hang on, there it is, my little bag.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I obviously no pressure or anything like that, but if you ever wanted to actually give it a go,
Yeah.
contact me, dude, because the people we were doing one.
You can hook it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll hook you up. I'll hook you up, sister.
Hook you up, bro.
Hook you up, bro.
I'll hook you up.
D&D hook you up.
I know,
Oh
right?
god, it's like the most opposite thing.
I know.
But seriously, like, one thing I've absolutely loved, and I'm so happy I started, was it all spanned from one of my friends is doing a campaign of her own, but it's taken a long time to create because it's a homebrew one.
Oh.
So you're not using like campaigns.
Yeah, you're not using like a manual or something. Yeah.
So I created my character, got hype about it, like this dude here, and yeah, that's my dude and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, because it's taken such a long time, I was sat there going, I've got my character, I've done my roles, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, I want to start something. So I contacted my friend Soph, Turquoise Magpie. Really check her out, by the way, fantastic artist. But I just said to him, do you want to do something like, do you want to have a go at playing a game? Like, shall we try a one-shot, like a one-shot 3-hour game? And she was like, yeah, okay. So we reached out for some DMs, and they got in contact saying, oh yeah, we've got these up. So I thought, okay, cool. Then I thought, hang on, our characters don't heal, so we'll die very quick. So that's when I tweeted out saying, is anyone else interested in coming on? And then it became this like really awesome stream series I've been doing where it's me, Soph, and 3 other players and 1 guest DM. The 3 players are always different as well, each one, go on adventures, and it's just like, it's really fun. It's so fun. I'm doing it tomorrow actually as well, which is fun. But yeah,
I'll have to tune into that.
Seriously,
because I love watching D&D stuff.
Yeah,
like all the time.
I'm obsessed with Critical Role. Like,
yes.
I've caught up with campaign 2, and there's like 99 episodes now. I started watching them December, so obsessed, obsessed.
My gosh.
But
that's
yeah,
epic.
you should definitely like come in.
Yeah.
'Cause it's beginners. It's complete beginners. Like,
okay.
Yeah, so the people who are in it don't know what's going on. I know pretty much now, and the DM knows, and Soph knows, but the guest ones,
you're just like thrown into it.
We're thrown into it, and you just play around.
Surprise!
Yeah, seriously.
No, that's cool though. That's really cool.
We had one person in the last recording stream, but the stream had to go down because my internet didn't handle it. But their character there's a big creature, like way too big for you. Okay, you can hide, and she just goes, nah, throw a knife at it. And it's like, oh god, it's fun. It's so fun, dude. So definitely, you'll get addicted to it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm one of those people that like has, I don't know, like I can visualize a bunch of things in my head. Like I can totally like see how things are playing out in my head, sort of. Visualize the story coming together. So I think I would love something like that for sure.
I was going to say, you can definitely tell that you're a visual person just because of your aesthetic behind you. You like things looking in the right place and everything like that. I learn by watching. If I want to learn something, I need to see a video of it. I need people to show me.
Yeah.
Visually, aesthetics, nah. I just chuck things around and that's it.
I'm just like,
Dude, every time I start these podcasts, I instantly have like setup envy because everyone's setups are so cool. And really? I'm like, I want to do it, but in fact I can't get used to this because me and my fiance, we've got to move out of this place as well. So that's gonna be fun. But
it looks like you're in just like a tiny room.
Yeah, it's just a little room, 2-bedroom house right now. So you got master bedroom, me and em. I mean, I was like, I want this room. So
so it's like your studio. That's awesome.
Studio, yeah.
I
mean, yours looks way more like a studio than mine. Trust me.
Like, no, I mean my first studio was literally like a corner behind my couch in my 1-bedroom apartment.
It's so good to see that.
I mean, the fact that you have your own room is really cool. You know.
It's just, when I was looking for a place to rent with Emily, the first thing I did was, obviously I need 2 bedrooms, but I went into the 2nd bedroom. I was like, will this make a good studio? Yep, cool. All right, let's go. So my stream mind was like, I want this to be my office. I'm sorry, babe, but you can have the living room. You can do whatever you want in the entire house, but this is my room. And
my whole thing, I always wanted wood floors. Like I love wood floors, and I had it at my old place. I had wood floors, and then obviously. Truck crashed into my house. So.
Yeah, well, I'd like to go into that if that's it. I'd like to go into that actually. There's so much to talk about with you. Yeah. Carry on with what you were saying though, and then we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, so a truck crashed in my house, so I had to move. and we were like really on the spot, having to find a house immediately. Um, we actually got really lucky with this place because it's actually really nice. It's a
Yeah,
really
it's
nice
gorgeous.
house, and it's actually spacier. Like there's more room, and there's a giant like fenced in backyard for my dog.
Oh, that's
So
so cool.
it's perfect. It's like a perfect house. But the one thing was like I had to give up my wood floors in my studio, and I was like, because I moved into the house and I was like, room. This place is perfect. I made it like my perfect little studio, and it was so sad having to go because I was just like, man, like I feel like I made it, my studio. I love it so much, and I'm just like stepping back. But
Oh
I make
man.
this work for me, but I really almost put my studio in our master bedroom because it had wood floors.
No, that's so.
And I was gonna
Oh,
be like, I was like, Boo Bear, we'll just have a room like upstairs, and I'll just have but it was a giant room because it's a master bedroom, and there's like a
amazing.
bathroom, and he was like this close to like letting me do it too, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. That's horrible.
You and
Like just
Taco.
because
I was
yeah.
just gonna say you and Taco seem like you got such a great relationship. By the way, it's like kudos
Oh
because
man.
I know you got. I know is he in the army, Marines?
Yeah,
What's
he's in the army.
Well,
He's
thank
in the
you so
army.
much, Taco, for your service in
Oh.
or around the world. I'm in England, so it doesn't really help me. but thank you for your service, my dude. Um, but it's really really nice to see like um, when you're posting on Instagram or Twitter about you and Taco's relationship
Yeah.
and how you're able to not cope because you do great, I'm sure, and I'm sure there's
Oh yeah.
those nights when it's like you feel lonely or you miss him and all that kind of thing, but it's just really wholesome seeing you talk about Taco when he's away and
Yeah.
when Taco's like interacting with you, and when you are together you know that it's a is it the distance makes the heart grow fonder, is that the
Yeah,
term?
I think that's what it is.
Like your relationship is the epitome of that. Like it's that when you are with him, you are with him,
Yeah.
and it's an interesting one because when you have a relationship where you're constantly with each other all the time, you can obviously still argue because it's a relationship in the end,
Oh
but
yeah, of
yeah,
course.
but like when you're constantly in each other's presence, it can be nice, but you do need that distance sometimes. You do
Yeah.
need to step away, but for yourself, it's like, oh no, we actually have to step away. We have to
Yeah.
be distant because of what he does. And
Mhm.
then when you're back, you're like, wow, okay, we are coming together
Yeah, you
properly.
like cherish the time you're together way more, I think,
Yeah, and it's
than
it's
you normally
wonderful.
would.
It's really wonderful to see. Every
Oh,
single time, it's like, hey, it's something always positive. And again,
yeah.
you're in a relationship. It's not going to always be sunshine, rainbows, and butterflies
Oh
everywhere.
yeah. Oh
Like
gosh,
you're
yeah.
gonna fall
Definitely.
out. You're gonna probably play Pokemon and then get pissed off with each other because you
Oh man.
one
I think
wins.
that the dumbest fight we've ever had to this date was we fought about code cards. Like, I don't know if you know what they are, but
No,
they
go
when you
on.
open a Pokemon, there's a code card. It looks like this. And
Right.
there's a scanner code on the back, and you scan it into Pokemon, and it gives you that pack, that IRL pack that you have, but
Oh.
online. So you open the pack online.
Uh huh.
So we actually had an argument about like whose code cards were whose.
Oh.
There was this big stack of code cards, and I was like, no, because I opened these ones, like these ones are mine, and he's like, no, those are from these ones. We had this like really big argument about code cards. It's like so stupid now that you think back on it. But yeah, there's always going to be dumb arguments in
Yeah.
relationships.
Always.
But
I think it's
I mean,
important.
oof.
People
Oh
want
no,
that.
yeah, for sure.
People want the perfect relationship. Like they never argue. And if I've ever heard anyone like say that they don't argue with their partner, I'm sort of looking and going,
You're like,
just you wait.
oh,
Just you wait.
no. No, yeah, either they haven't like actually been like with their person long enough, or they are just lying to you because there's no way.
People have
There's
it.
no way.
It's the issue of like Facebook and social media, isn't it? It's where you
Oh
see
yeah.
people posting that we're with someone and they love each other and they're holding hands and all that kind of stuff, and then 2 weeks later split up. It's like,
Oh my
okay,
gosh.
all
No, that
right.
happens all the time. And it doesn't even matter. We are engaged. We are
Hmm.
going to be married. And then
Hmm.
they split up. And you're just like, what? Because
Yeah.
like everything you see is so perfect, and you're just
Hmm.
like, what?
Yeah.
That's why I think I'm like somewhat more transparent with like I'm having, you know, and not that I'm like I'm arguing with talking on social media or anything like that,
Hmm.
but more of like, you know, I'm going through a rough time with him being away. I'm having a difficult time with it. Like just being real, I
Yeah.
think, about it. And I mean, we've been together for like years now. So, and we've been literally through everything
Yeah.
that I could like everything that could possibly have gone has gone wrong,
Hmm.
and we've just been through it together. So,
Yeah.
and I think the biggest thing is just like our communication with each other has like grown so much. Like we understand each other so much
Mm.
that like the way we communicate, even if it isn't in like the most positive way, we can like understand like how that person communicates,
Yeah.
even if it's not always positive, you know? And it's like you can be like, okay, let me approach this, you know, this way because I know that they're having a tough time with this, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's literally just time kind of helps you with the intricacies of like a relationship and how to kind of navigate that. So
I think
I
you
think it's
always
just knowing
have.
the person.
Yeah. I think you always have comparisons in your own relationship where, let's say you do have
Yeah.
an argument. Well, that's like setting the tone to what is worthy of an argument. So if anything pushes past that
Hmm.
threshold, then you're going to argue and all that kind of thing. But you sort of know where the balance is, where you might be building up, there might be tension. You go, hang on a second, what we're really arguing about? It's not really
Yeah,
that
like how
much,
do
is
you
it?
de-escalate that? Yeah.
Hmm. I mean,
Well, and that's the big thing with Taco too. Like we've been through so much, like so much that now it's like if anything bad comes up or anything that we disagree on or whatever, like we both are just like let's just address this and deal with this and like get past it because we want to not be happy with each other. You know what I mean? Like
hmm.
we care more about just being happy
Yeah.
and like being with each other than we do about like I'm mad, so I'm not going to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's like those little things that you get through in relationships where you're, you know, there's like petty, it's just petty stuff that you're like, you know, you don't really know how to navigate a situation, so you just do something that you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna like do whatever, you know, and
Yeah.
you don't care about it instead of actually just addressing it with the person,
Yeah.
getting past it
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
focusing on like, I just want to be with this person and be happy, you know? So I think that's helped a lot because anytime something negative comes up, we just talk about it and then it's fine, you
Yeah.
know? And then you're
Yeah.
happy and it's like, woo!
It's interesting because like in these moments you don't want to have the argument because not many people like confrontation, but
Yeah.
sometimes it you don't face it for so long that it just eventually blows up. I've always
Yeah.
had it as like a kettle where you put in water in it, you start boiling, but there's no way for this steam to escape, so it just
Yeah.
goes boil, 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 boom, and then it's a disaster. And in those moments, it's starting to step away from the I like you can have the argument and you can say loads of things, but then you've got to be able to step away and analyze it and go, okay, what was I did what I said? Did I mean that because it was a valid point? Did I say that because I was just angry? And then
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to shut up and just give each other a hug and be
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
all right,
For
because
sure.
that moment when you've blown up and it's either you or them to be the first person to like just instigate a touch, like a
Oh,
tap on
man.
here or a hug, so important. And
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I feel
And
like
sometimes
yeah,
it's like all you actually need too, a
yeah,
lot of times. And it's like, and a lot of times it's like both parties are on common ground and you both understand each other, but it's just coming to the point where you can just de-escalate it and admit that you're wrong or like admit you see where the person's coming from or
yeah,
just like you said, just like hug each other and it's fine, you know?
yeah. So sometimes you don't need words. You really don't. You just need that,
Oh,
that
yeah.
a touch, a hug, a kiss, whatever it is. But
Yeah.
that's the most important part sometimes, where the communication doesn't have to be verbal. It's just, hey, buddy. It's just yes, Finn. Finn's always in the room, bless him.
Oh,
But yeah, it's not through like communication with your verbs, but communicating verbs with words, but it's communication just with touch and feel. Like as weird as that sounds, it's important, and communication is always going to be key, and it's miscommunication where most arguments happen.
Oh yeah, I think so. For
And
sure. Oh,
yeah, sorry, he's going to
that's
be
so
messing around.
cute.
Hey, choke.
My Penny never comes in here. She's like scared when I start talking to my screen. She gets weirded out and she leaves.
Doesn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, she's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, she knows you mean business. He should be okay.
Oh, he's so cute.
He's all right, bless him. He does this where if I'm on the phone with someone, he'll just start trying to lick my face and everything. It's like, stop, because he wants my
Get your
attention. Yeah, and he's an
Penny
arsehole.
does the opposite. She's like, oh, I'm out of here. Like,
She just did like, oh, screw you, and then
yeah,
heads
she
away.
dips out.
I can't. Yeah, dips out. A dog dipping out is so great. Holy God.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's an interesting one with communication. Going back onto streaming and YouTube and all that. It's learning how to communicate with your audience as well, because
oh yeah, for sure.
so you'll have it where you might have had this before, where
Probably.
you more than likely, where you're just communicating as in just being friendly with the audience or friendly with people within the audience and community.
Yeah.
But they start to become too attached, if that makes sense.
Oh gosh.
Where I can't remember who it was. I think it was a tweet a year, maybe 2 years ago by Cinnamon Toast Ken, and he mentioned something about there has to be a level of detachment between the content creator or streamer and the audience, and even though it sounds nasty, I completely agree with him, because if you become way too, not like too I know he's all over it right now, too friendly with them, it becomes overbearing where they're constantly going to try and talk to you, and then you got to juggle the idea of being good with social media, streaming.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Not trying to be not trying to be using favoritism. That makes sense. And making them understand, like, I am friendly with you, but we need to establish, like, it's not how can I say, a deep intimate relationship.
Yeah.
There's difference.
No, yeah, that happens all the time, for sure.
It's a weird
I think
one.
everybody assumes it happens.
Can you say it again? Sorry, your voice cut out.
Oh, I was saying, I wonder if I missed.
Oh, no, it's on my end, don't worry.
Okay. I was saying, I think everybody assumes that it happens more to females just because they're like, oh, creepy dudes, everywhere. But
They come crawling out.
I think it really happens to both males and females, like, really often.
Yeah.
And it just comes down to, just like you said, the way the communication is on Twitch. Like, people are watching your streams, they feel like they know you, and it's with YouTube too. I think it's actually even more with YouTube because, like I said, the whole thing, like, people are going to your video for you. There's no community interaction besides the comments, but that's like a sort of like a passive thing.
Yeah.
So they're going for you and they feel like an attachment to you and like they know you. And there's plenty of people out there that, could feel like they know me, or, they listen to the things I say, or they pick up on things or something that I don't even remember mentioning, like, oh, I do this on Tuesday nights, and now they know that,
Yeah.
and some like little things that people pick up on, so they feel like they're, have this relationship with you. In reality, I don't even know who you are,
No, it's true.
It's like,
it's true.
And it sounds horrible, and people reach out to me all the time, and I love talking to both YouTube and Twitch people that hit me up in DMs or whatever. But also, they don't see the reality of the situation is, like, my, like, requested DMs folder is now just at 99 plus because I've maxed it out. And that's people who I still have to, like, say, like, confirm.
Yeah.
Okay, let's message, And it's just because, like, when you're on a social platform and you're sort of like a public personality or whatever, people, that's how they view you, and they feel this intimate connection with you.
Yeah.
And then they don't realize it's like kind of a dime a dozen, which sounds horrible, like you said,
No, it's true.
but it's true. Yeah, like it's really tough. I've had a couple of stalkers over the
Yeah.
past couple years. Yeah,
Hmm.
just dealing with that. So it's scary.
I
It's
can
scary
I
out there.
can only imagine as well from a female point of view, like how scary that could be. Actually, you know what? Not just from a female point of view, but any point of view, where
No, yeah,
you,
because I've heard males too that have horrible, horrible stories, like worse than some of mine, actually. So that's why I always say like male and female because I know to
mm,
guys too, but no one really mentions that.
I think that's the thing.
So
It's the public awareness of it all, where you have
yeah,
people in the LGBTQ. I can't remember if I got those letters right. Community where
yeah,
they have those kind of interactions, and then
yeah,
it's like, well, that is definitely going to happen and all that, and but let's not forget that everyone can experience that too, and making sure that they get involved and they can talk about it, because when you have people who are, let's just say, straight white male, you know,
hmm
they they are worried about complaining about it or talking about it because they feel like they haven't got the right to talk about it, and it can happen to anyone. Like
Well,
the
not only that, but they think that people are like, oh, who cares? Like brush it off, ignore it, ban
mm,
them. Like, why are you
yeah,
complaining? Like,
yeah,
can't you protect yourself? You know what I mean? So it's
mm,
almost like people just kind of like automatically are like, oh, who cares? There's people who have it worse than you, and
yeah,
nobody really addresses like, actually, this should be a to anyone.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. No
what?
human should subject to that kind of stuff, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
totally agree with that. No matter who they are, it's like, yeah, but they're human. They have emotions. They get sad.
yeah,
They get
exactly.
offended. It's like, come on, dude. Like, just have some empathy for everyone, not just a team, but like, just be team
Yeah.
human. That's always what my thing is like. Just be team human. Like,
My biggest thing I think that annoys me a lot of times is when people get like unsolicited pictures sent to like male versus female. I've seen so many times guys that have females sending them unsolicited pictures and they're like, this is like, I don't want this, why are you doing this? But then like the story comes out or they finally say something about it and the female or whatever, like they're like, oh well, you're a dude, don't you want naked pictures? You know what I mean?
mm,
And that's always like, and I'm like, what, like
yeah,
why is that a thing? you
yeah,
know
you're
I
right.
think just generalizing in general is bad to do,
Yeah, yeah, you if you're part of this category, I can only feel this bad for you. If you're part of this
uh
one, I can only feel this bad for you. Like, no,
yeah.
just uh, again, team human. That's my
Mhm.
thing. Like, whoever you are, whatever race, whatever sexuality you are, whatever gender you are, even if you haven't got a specific gender,
Yeah.
you're a human, and that's what matters most. Are you a nice person?
Yeah.
Yeah, then cool. There we go. And it's fascinating. I've learned so much over the past few years about the spectrum of humans, and I think I always say that's one of the biggest things I've taken away from doing what I do is
Yeah.
the variability of humans and the understanding. Because oh man, I was even like 4, 5, maybe even 6 years ago, I was so ignorant to everything. I'd say all the things, and I've always said, I've admitted this all the time, but like I used to say
Yeah.
all the slurs and all that kind of thing, and now it's like, oh wow, yeah, back then, stupid idea, things to say, shouldn't be doing it and all that, and now it's like you grow, you learn, you grow, you understand, you develop empathy, and then you can adapt your how you interact with the world, and
Yeah.
even if there's your in real life surroundings are still in that kind of mindset, as in
Yeah.
the old mindset,
Mhm.
it's fine, whatever, don't whatever, it's okay, you do what you do, but I've developed my own understanding of this world now, and
Yeah.
pushing through, pushing through, uh, continuing your life with that kind of um, paradigm shift, if you would,
Yeah.
it's important, and
I
learning
mean,
from everyone is important.
I think that like social media has had a huge part to play in that too because like you said, it was almost like a culture back then for people to like slurs were just like common slang for people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a big part of the culture. It's almost like, when people were like groovy, dude, like back in, and like it's sort of the same thing, except it was like, so I don't want to say people didn't see it maliciously, because it was definitely still a malicious thing, but I really do think people were like more ignorant to I don't think a lot of people were saying it in a malicious
No.
way, as more of just like a slang term,
Yeah.
any words, like, really. But now that I think you have like social media and everybody's connected all the time, you can actually hear more differing opinions of
Yeah.
things, or people being like, hey, I actually hear that and this is what I think about it. And
Yeah.
then you start seeing other people's perspectives and you're like, wow, I didn't think about it like that. I could actually be, affecting people by saying this.
Absolutely.
And then you kind of introspect a little more and change how you do things, because you care about other people.
Yeah. 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 It's
So,
true. It's again, it's the fact that you do have empathy for other people because they're just like you. They're just a human like you. So, like people, I've heard it all before where it's like, wow, it's female and male, and that's it. I'm gonna say this and that no matter what you say. It's like, well, no,
yeah.
like just be a nice person, and you know what it's like as well. If someone's married or single, like Miss, Ms, Miss, and Mrs.
Mrs. Yeah.
It's equivalent to that. Like, learn what they're supposed to be called, Ms, Miss, or Mrs., and then stick to that. If you make a mistake and get it wrong, learn from your mistake and then grow from it.
Correct
But
it. Yeah.
yeah, it's not going, well, I see you as Miss. It's like, no, 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 no. This is how it
It's
is.
like,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But I one thing I've been very grateful for and fortunate for with my community, because I have quite a lot of people in the LGBTQ community, and I've misgendered someone like just by accident, or I know that they refer to themselves as a they, and I'll call them a she, and I'll just quickly go, oh, I'm so sorry, and you just apologize for it, you learn from it, and that's it. And I'm very fortunate because the people in my community are very understanding about that. They're
Yeah.
very lenient with people, well, for me at least, to be able to learn. And
Yeah.
I think that's really important too, where it's not misgendered me, boom, and you're on them. It's, oh, it's okay, don't worry, you're learning, it's all right, and
Oh yeah.
eventually it's okay. Um,
Oh yeah. I think it definitely goes both ways.
yeah,
Like, I think aside of your like putting aside your personal beliefs of like whatever you believe, just like viewing everyone on a baseline of mutual respect.
absolutely.
That's what it is. And if someone corrects you in a polite, normal way and asks you, like, actually, I go by this, could you call me this? Like, I don't think there should be an issue with that.
No,
And you shouldn't be like, you know what I mean? It's just like,
I get you.
it's almost like, I don't want to say like religions,
Hmm.
but it's kind of like someone says they're a certain religion or whatever. Nobody like questions that automatically. You know what I mean? Like, they associate it with this religion. Everyone's
Yeah,
just like, okay, cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
That's it.
yeah, that's it. So it's like, if someone were to ask, like, oh, or like talk about someone's religion, like, it's not. Everyone just is like, okay, yeah, that's that person's religion. So I don't see it any differently from that, I guess.
Yeah, again, team people, and
Yeah.
I've heard of many people where if someone is into religion, an atheist will think that's their cue to try and change them. It's like, no, you're wrong. It's like, no, 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 just whatever. It's not harming anyone, whatever their beliefs are. So
Well,
just
it's not
leave
even
them.
just that. It's like, if you want to, have a discussion like that or something, still, like, I think the baseline is always just mutual respect.
I get you.
And it's like, even if for some reason you did not want to call that person what they're wanting to be called or whatever, for whatever reason, like, as long as you can be like, okay, well, I don't want to call you that because it's my reason. Like, sorry, and then that person is like, okay, that's your reason. But obviously those people are probably not going to be communicating because
from that point onwards.
Why would you want to communicate? Well, doesn't want to address you by what you go by,
Yeah.
So but that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's just mutual respect at the end of the day. You shouldn't be trying to persuade someone from their views, whether it's one side or the other.
Yeah.
I guess, unless it comes from malicious intent. That's where I think it's different. Because if someone is blatantly like, I'm not going to call you this because I don't believe in this, you're a lie, you have mental health issues, blah, blah, blah. That's not respectful. That's not something like, that's where I draw the line. It's like, if someone doesn't give you respect, then I don't believe that you have to be respectful to them back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I happily, if anyone is an arse in the chat who are like new and stuff, I will just happily call them out, because it's like,
oh yeah,
because I'm like that in real life as well. If someone's disrespectful or says something disrespectful, it's like,
yeah,
you're not gonna get away with that, right? You're not gonna be able to get away with that around me, at least, because I look after my own when it comes to community. Like, if someone comes in and it's a negative, it tries to bring the chat down. It's like, okay, hang on, just wait, we need to sort this out, because that can lead into other things. But if someone's just, people can troll me all they want. I do not give a I'm trying not to swear. I don't give a crap, because I was like trying to find a word. But
I'm not against swearing. It's just I'm so used to being YouTube.
Again, being respectful.
But yes, I feel you.
But like, they can be like that to me as much as they want, because I know they're coming from a negative place in themselves. Like, you have to be negatively orientated in your own self to be able to put that malicious stuff outside of you. So I always have that kind of, oh, poor you mentality kind of thing. It's only when they do it to other people in chat, that's when I go off. Because it's like, I'm here to look after my community. Like, you can mess with me all you want, but no, I'm not having that.
Exactly. That's how I feel. And I think, like I said, it just all comes back to intent. You can tell when someone just has a belief and they aren't trying to spout that belief on other people or anything. Or they're really out there trying to like genuinely upset other people because of their own beliefs or whatever. You know what I mean? Or it's like, there's a way, and those people, in my opinion, they just do nothing for their cause, because there's a way to come across with like what you're trying to say in a respectful and like normal manner that'll actually do more, I think, to communicate with the person that you're trying to get them to hear whatever your side is, than just coming across super malicious and like attacking that person.
Communication's so key with everything. Most problems in the world are from a lack of communication.
I feel like that's all our conversations are coming back.
It loops back to
Twitch communication, YouTube communication, relationship.
I'm just gonna put the title's just gonna be communication, and like that's it. That's all it's gonna be.
All caps.
Always, come on, you gotta get those clicks going on. But like, I just think it's important, and honestly, I'm looping right back to the beginning. That's why I like doing podcasts like this, where it's just two people talking about whatever.
It could go on forever.
Easily.
It really could.
Yeah, and that's what I like. I like those kind of conversations where it just free flows. It goes from one thing to the other, and it has a theme, communication. But
I miss this. I miss this a lot, because this is what I did on Twitch.
Yeah.
Talking on Twitch, just in the IRL chat with my talking about whatever. I really miss that.
If you ever did it, dude, I'll be there. You know it. But I just think when you have a communication with someone else, you start talking to that person. So I know that sounds dumb thinking about it, but I mean the real person, as real as
when you start communicating, you start communicating.
When you talk to a person and you really talk to a person, you use words in English and different languages. Fucking hell! Oh, I swore. Only once. Only
You
once.
gotta replace it with the Pikachu sound.
Okay, I'll do that for you. God, I'll find it. I'll find that moment just for you.
Yes.
But yeah, when it comes to podcasts like this, my whole goal is to make it so the people like your fans or
Yeah.
any other guests who come on, they get to see you kind of outside your content and just talk to you, like
About
hear a
topic.
long form conversation where it could just be anything, and it could be like we talk about whatever, like games, anime, whatever it is.
Science. Oh yeah. Anime.
Science.
Yes.
But God, anime, I could go
Yeah,
off about
whatever.
anime all the time. But I think
Oh my gosh.
open up like, because it opens up the communication between your fans and you, and it's like this is a long form conversation between you and your community where they're going to understand
Yeah.
you even more so.
I like that too because I never know, like, because I make Pokemon content. My stuff is about opening Pokemon,
Yeah.
you know? So it's not like I'm just gonna like be opening Pokemon cards and like telling my life story. Really? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get
Like, so, you know, my content's focused on Pokemon. I'm gonna be talking about Pokemon usually, unless I mention little things in my life here and there. But yeah, but it's I never really know if I want to know like more or if they're like, man, like curious about my life or
Yeah.
curious about me and Taco or curious about my job or anything. Like I never really know because I don't know. I just don't know. So I like this because it is, like you said, it's like a long form thing where people can kind of get to know my viewpoint on things,
Yeah.
get to know me better as a person. So that's cool.
I think it can only help. That's
Yeah,
cool. I think it can only help
Or they'll
your...
watch this and be like, "Wow, I hate her. I'm she's horrible."
You drop back down to like 1,000 subscribers, like, oh, I was messaging going, I'm so sorry.
Honestly, though, I would respect that. I would respect that more than the people that just look at you and write you off.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
if they would really come here to this and then decide they don't like me, at least they made like more of an educated decision than people that are just like, she's female, she's blonde, I hate her.
I hate it.
You know what I mean?
I hate it.
That's what the one thing that like probably triggers me, that I just started deleting the comments at that point, but is people that just write me off because I'm a female immediately. And it sucks too because it happens from other creators. I don't know.
From
like,
other creators,
why.
did you say?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
like I had another creator comment on one of my videos, and they were just like, "Wow, like you're using your looks for, you know, you're sexualizing Pokemon." I'm like, what? Like what? Or they write it off. They're like, "You're only growing because, you know, because you're a female." And I'm like, man, like if only they could see the hours and like the time and the hard work I put into my videos, then they wouldn't just be saying this.
It's so annoying when that happens because it's a constant thread what is happening all the time. If you go onto anyone's stream, again, it sort of goes back to the jealous content creators and streamers where they're not happy with what they're doing. So they go, well, it can't be that I'm not good or I'm lazy or I don't do the things right, I don't work hard. It must be because they're female. That's why they're successful. That's why I'm not.
Because they got boobies.
They got boobs. I have not got boobs. So therefore, I cannot be successful.
That is the only difference there is. Like, it sucks, man.
It's an interesting thing. Like, and...
yeah.
It's one of those things where you see it all the time and you wish you could just reach out to and go, you're doing it wrong. You're going into this in the wrong way as a content creator. If you want your thing to grow, you cannot blame other people. You can't say you are doing better than me because of this. Which I can't do myself. That's just bullshit. It's such bullshit,
especially
dude.
Because it's like you have what this person does behind the scenes, you know, you have no idea.
You don't see
I almost like I got to a point where I was like, dude, I want to do a video that I just have like a bag over my head And like doing exactly the same, just with a bag on my head,
You know,
just to prove. And the thing is, I was like, man, I probably more views than any of my other videos, just
I was
because the sheer like
I
ridiculousness.
have an idea. You know a morph suit. You know morph suits
Oh
where
yeah, yeah.
that's what you wear. You wear a morph suit, so you don't see anything with a really baggy like hoodie, and then you do your same content, and it's just
Yeah.
like, you know, and it will guarantee be the most successful video you ever have.
Yeah, I
Guarantee
know,
it.
right?
And
And it just sucks that it's like it takes that to prove to people that it's like that's not what this is, you know. But again, I think it's a very small majority of people that view things like that. So
yeah, it's the people who you don't need to pay attention to,
oh yeah,
pretty
for
much.
sure.
Like,
And that's the toughest because like the comments that stick out are usually the ones that you're like, you know, and you have negative
unfortunately,
feedback toward it.
yeah.
But that's why you just gotta start deleting them.
I always
Otherwise,
I
it's
always
just
go
too
to,
much.
yeah, absolutely. I always go for the idea that the reason why we spot the negative so much more than a positive is because I always say this, but if you're in a room and then
Yeah.
a giant tiger breaks through and they're in the room with you, you don't look at it and go, "That's a really pretty tiger. Oh, that's lovely." You go, "Oh God, big
Oh
teeth! It's
my
going to kill
god.
me." You have to look at the negative to survive. So we're geared towards looking at
Yeah.
negativity to survive things, and yeah, it's a thing that I thankfully don't have to deal with. I'm very happy I don't have to deal with that kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But when I see it happen to other people, especially when, again, like you said, they're disregarding everything you do, and then you've put all this effort in, you've put an hour of recording, let's say, you've edited for hours, you've rendered it,
Yeah.
you've done all this, and then they go, this is good because boobs. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
dude, like
It's
just
just
chill out. Like, what's the
and,
point of
and
it
when you
all?
and when you say it like that, you see more of like, wow, that's so dumb. It's not even worth my time to
Yeah,
respond to.
yeah,
But when you
exactly.
see it like and you're on your own, you're just like, what the heck? Like how could someone think this? And you almost take it more personally, I think. I definitely have before. But then over time you're just like, wow, this is so stupid. Like because a lot of times you're not gonna change that person's perspective, you
And
know,
neither should
either.
you. You shouldn't put the effort
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's
yeah, that's
it's
why I just delete those now.
it's
Which is
instant.
positive about YouTube. You can just be like, "Meow, meow."
Yeah, you true. It's the what was I going to say? The instant they say anything like that, they're a lost cause to you because no
Oh
matter
yeah.
because they could just be saying that, so then you can reach out to them and say, "Hey, fuck you," and
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, they said fuck you. Oh, I'm so
Yeah, they
happy."
like want the attention of it. And
Always.
then it's I always think about it like I'm replying to this person when I could be replying to someone that's like, "Hey, just found your channel, love your stuff," you know? It's like
Exactly.
you have to prioritize who you're giving your attention and positive feedback to, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? For sure.
With Jacksepticeye, because I'm like a main my community is mainly Jacksepticeye based, and
Yeah.
Jacksepticeye has moved away from Tumblr because it's just become a cesspool of negativity towards him for no real reason. It's just
Yeah.
people being assholes in the end. And people are going, "Why you moved away from Tumblr and all this?" I'm like, he should move away from Tumblr because it's almost all negative, and he can
Toxic.
it's all toxic. He can spend way more time in a much more cleaner environment where, yeah, he's not trying to like make everything positive and then, you know, he can't do no wrong, but he knows that the people who matter are the ones where he can communicate with them directly, pretty much. Like
Yeah.
if he's got some friends, he can easily just go, "Hey, is this okay?" And then his friends will be like, "Yeah, it's okay," or "Bit weird." He pays attention to them. And I think that's really important because you can listen to the opinions of other people. However, you've got to filter out the ones that actually matter.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Oh,
filter
yeah.
them out to make it all positive, because sometimes negative comments do help you guide what you want to
Oh,
do.
100%. Yeah.
But it's when if you you've just got to pick it. You've just got to pick out the positive as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, you gotta balance it because I feel like if you have a group of friends that's just constantly saying like, yes, keep doing it, you're doing great, doing awesome,
Yeah,
you're going to not get checked on
yeah,
things that you're doing wrong.
absolutely. Yeah,
You should always have a group of friends that can say like, hey, that was kind of whack. Like you should fix that situation, and
yeah.
then you have to be like, oh yeah, you're right, and then you grow as a person from that.
I
I
think,
think it's really, really bad if you just have a group of yes men around you.
yeah, totally. You're
It's like,
totally right.
no.
I
I think
I totally agree.
Taco's my person that does it a lot.
Emily's there too. Yeah, she'll just
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
She'll just go. Dave, shut up. Like all the time.
Stop.
Yeah, just
Stop.
stop. Even mid stream when she's joined my streams, she'll just look at
Stop.
me and be like, "What are you doing?" So I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Get help.
Yeah, get help. Exactly.
Stop. Get help. I have to. Sadly, I'm
Okay.
about to be late for.
That's
It's
all
actually a
good.
Pokemon thing.
Oh really?
Every Saturday I go to my weekly tournaments.
Oh, so cool. I won't want to interrupt you there then. Don't worry about the questions or anything like that, dude. We've had a really good conversation and stuff. So,
I know. I just feel so bad. I feel like I could talk forever.
well, I mean, if you ever wanted to come back to Twitch or anything like that,
Yeah.
we could set up a live podcast. We could do it like that if you want to, where
Yeah,
like it'll be a podcast on my end, but it could be like just a conversation, whatever you want to do on your end.
You
But
can
like,
get some like interactive questions and stuff like that.
yeah,
That'd be
well,
sweet.
yeah, we'll do something like that because again, this podcast is not structured. It's just talking.
It's free flowing.
Yeah, and honestly,
I like it like that though.
I've loved this podcast, dude. It's been wonderful. You've said some really good things, and to hear it from your perspective, especially like even though you're not involved with Twitch really that much anymore,
Yeah.
but hearing a perspective of someone who has quote unquote made it to partner
Uh-huh.
and hearing your perspective is interesting because it can be a different perspective to people who've just started and different people's
yeah.
opinions and levels of success. People's opinions change. Oh, sorry, not change because they're successful, but if you pay attention to someone who isn't doing that well or they're constantly complaining or that kind of thing, it's not the best person to take notes from. But if you want to become a partner, if you want to become, popular on whatever it is or grow your channel, make things better, look up to people who are doing that, what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
And if you're able to speak to them, take notes from them. It's one of the reasons why I asked you. I took a note from you about putting the games on the board. It's like, you're doing really well. Let's do something what you're doing and bring it into my own. Like,
Yeah.
it's taking the positives from the successful people, the people you'd like to aspire to, or the people who I like to say it's like a success coach. Like I know it sounds weird, but like, you know what you want, you've got sort of a plan, find someone who's already got what you want
Yeah.
and aspire to get that. Don't be like, oh, you've got what I want. It's, oh wow,
Yeah.
you've got exactly what I want. Can you help me? Can you an actual have a conversation about advice?
Well, and I think it like partners with like, because you could see someone at like the level you want to be at, and you're like, man, how they get there, I want to do that and stuff, and the person like could have an experience or a whole different view than what you think that really is.
Exactly.
You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know what it's taken for that person to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that is the side. That's what I'm really still passionate about, and wish that more streamers shared is like the struggles of it. Because everybody's like, oh, struggles, don't look at numbers, don't do, like, there's that generic stream advice, but nobody talks about the mental toll it takes.
No.
And I think it's because it's such an isolating thing. And like, you don't want to talk about it because then people think you're complaining, and you don't want to think like people to think you're taking what you have for granted. And that's the biggest thing, because then you just look like you don't care about your community,
Yeah.
And it's such a catch-22 that streamers are battling constantly. And I think what happens is a lot of time they end up battling those things on their own personally. and then it just eats them alive because they're having to deal with this all on their own and
Absolutely.
get in front of a camera every day and ignore it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just not healthy. It's not a good thing to do. And I think that's what's helped me a lot with YouTube. Like I said, it's so much more personal with my content creation. I can be so creative, and no one is in my space when I do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just purely passionate for what I'm doing. And it's helped me a lot, just kind of rediscover myself after 2 years, kind of trying to, you know, please everyone and make everything work, and ignoring everything that was going on inside me. Like, YouTube has really helped me like rediscover myself and like who I am as a person. So
Hell yeah, dude. That's great.
Yeah, bros.
Is there anything else you want to say to your audience? Is there anything else you want to say to people listening, your fans?
Thank you guys so much. I just think it's crazy, like how far I've gone. Like I'm still looking at it and I'm like, wow, this is bananas. Yeah. I really think I think the channel is going to get really big because I'm going to continue to pour my hard work into it, and I genuinely enjoy what I'm doing, and I wouldn't be anywhere without the support that you guys. I'm like, where should I look? I'm like, webcam. But without you guys supporting my channel and like genuinely enjoying my content, giving me feedback, and helping me grow as a content creator too. So
wonderful, dude. And where can, because obviously your guys will come over here, so they'll know where you are. But where can everyone else who sees this find you?
Frosted Caribou on YouTube, also Frosted Caribou on Twitch, and then Frosted Pokeboo, like Pokemon, like Poke, Frosted Pokeboo on Instagram. But I am also from Instagram too, but I've been maining my Pokemon account for like the past year. So that's where I'm most active, on Instagram. And on Twitter too is Frosted Caribou as well.
Cool. And you know what's the most surprising about this podcast?
Huh?
You know what's the most surprising about this podcast today? We didn't speak about Pokemon at all.
I know. Is that bad?
It's all good. It's all good.
People are gonna come here like ready to hear about Pokemon.
All the inside games and stuff, and we're like, nah.
I feel like you should put a clip in the beginning that's like, hey, we don't really talk about Pokemon.
A disclaimer. Amazing. Oh god, that's so funny. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you do follow Boo everywhere. I'll make sure all the links are in the description down below. Leave a like, leave a comment, and we'll set up another one if you ever wanted to. We'll do something.
Thank you so much for having me on.
It's been wonderful, dude.
I missed this so much. So thank you for giving me this opportunity.
My pleasure, dude. Absolute pleasure to have you on. And just keep being you, keep creating. And that's it, guys. So catch you guys later. All you gotta do now, Boo, is say bye to the audience really awkwardly, because that's what we do. Bye. Bye. Cool.